Hey everybody, and Tony here with a review of Mozart's Die Zauberflöte, known in Finnish as Taikahuilu, with conductor Kurt Kopecki and with a Finnish translation done by Juhani Koivisto, which I saw last night at the Finnish National Opera, known in Finnish as the Suomen Kansallisooppera. This was the same production I saw that was done at the Komische Oper Berlin by Barry Kosky, Suzanne Andrade, and Paul Barrett. And the reason why I came to this production once again was to see some very fine singers in the forms of Jussi Mylly's and Alexandra Olszyk, among many others. And last night's performance of the Magic Flute was absolutely amazing thanks to all the singers. Starting off with Jussi Mylly's as Tamino, I thought he was noble, charming, handsome, and sturdy in his own way. I have followed Mr. Mylly's career for quite some time, and I mainly heard about him ever since I was about 18 or 19 years old. And from what I could see through his repertoire, he specializes in a lot of the light lyric and full lyric tenor roles, those being Iachino from Fidelio, Pedrillo and Belmonte from Die Entführung aus dem Serail, and of course, his most performed role of all time, Tamino. He does specialize in the Italian, French, and to some occasions, Russian and Slavic parts. However, the Germanic repertoire is his forte. I was completely involved with his performance as Tamino. First of all, his voice had that brilliance of a true lyric tenor. It was focused and clean. There were no shortcomings whatsoever. It was pure, it was bright, it was just so brilliant to listen to that I was practically on the edge of my seat every time he entered the stage. He had that nobility which made him stand out so well, and he had a firmness not only in his tone but also in his acting, which made him all the more endearing. And of course, that youthfulness that he has in both his stage presence and voice were in absolute evidence. So what more can I say about Mr. Jussi Mylly's? He was able to be an outstanding singing actor from beginning to end, and I would love to see a lot more of him because he has a pristine technique which is unparalleled, and he was a peerless, full lyric tenor with a beautiful voice, a wonderful stage presence, and loads of charisma. Equally as charismatic was Jussi Mericanto as the ever-charming, ever-lovable Papageno. He had an equally firm tone to his voice. He had a supple and clean lyric baritone voice, which made him a perfect candidate for not only roles like this, but also Lida and maybe even some Baroque pieces. But more than anything, I'm sure that Lida is his forte, all thanks to that pliability which he has in his voice and that overall beauty of tone which he is quite well known for. This was the very first time I saw him live, and it was safe to say that he not only had a lot of charisma in his performance as Papageno, but he had a lot of strength to help him stand out as a singing actor. I can definitely see him in roles like Amfortas from Parsifal, Donna from Das Rheingold, Beckmesser from Meistersinger von Nürnberg, and even the Herald from Lohengrin. And lest I forget about Wolfram von Eschenbach from Tannhäuser. I could definitely see him in these lyrical Wagnerian baritone parts because he has a lot of pliability to his voice that makes him absolutely great as a musician. And of course, he was an equally peerless singing actor. Alexandra Olszyk was an absolutely fine and gorgeous queen of the night. And yes, she is a lyric coloratura soprano who is still quite young but has an amazing future ahead of her. What I really like about her voice is that it is clean and absolutely precise on all the registers, which should be no surprise as I heard her on YouTube singing both Der Hölle Rache and O Zittre nicht. She does have a very fine and pure tone, and of course she was so spot on with all of her notes. I could definitely see a great future with Miss Olszek in roles like Lucia Ashton, Violetta Valeri, Elvira Valton from I Puritani, Amina from La Sonambula, Giulietta from I Capuleti e Montechi, Michael from Gounod's Michael, Manon from Massenet's Manon, and Truelove from The Rake's Progress, Adele from Le Comptory, Marguerite de Valois from Les Huguenots, Isabelle from Robert le Diable, and a lot of wonderful roles for either a lyric coloratura soprano or even to some extent a lyric dramatic coloratura soprano. She certainly established herself so well as the Queen of the Night that I'm really sure that her future will definitely be a great one, with greater roles to come and an equally great future in all of the bel canto operas. She's still quite young, but she has a lot of potential to be great, maybe in 5 years' time or even in 10 years' time. This is a young lyric coloratura soprano whose career I want to see flourish even more. Christelle Pertna was a silver-toned and swan-like Pamina, with her graceful, sleek, and slim physique, that girlish face, and her pure-toned, silvery, and sweet lyric coloratura soprano voice. She was able to make her performance as Pamina come alive. What I read in her biography is that she not only specialized as Pamina, but also the likes of Gilda, Violetta, and Cleopatra from Giulio Cesare. It's safe to say that she has established herself as a fine interpreter of not only the coloratura soprano repertoire, but also the light lyric soprano repertoire. She was, as I stated before, a gorgeous singer with a silvery and clean tone, and she was able to make a lot of great music with Pamina. And of course, her chemistry with Jussi Milis as Tamino was so palpable. You can definitely feel it that these two are a really great pair. You can definitely tell that they were able to work well off of each other with their superb musicianship, and I would love to see these two on stage more often. Who knows? Maybe they might end up performing roles like Nemorino and Adina, Edgardo and Lucia, Romeo and Juliette, Vincent and Mireille, Ernesto and Norina, Elvino and Amina, Tebaldo and Giulietta, and of course, Hoffman and Antonia. I would really love to see these two in a lot more roles in the near future because they had great chemistry and they were able to use their heavenly voices in a way that left me speechless and breathless at the same time. Johanna Izokoski was a pert and charming papagena with her light soprano tone, which is so silvery and sweet, her slim and sleek physique, which was so girlish and agile, and of course, that overall charisma which she had as a singing actress. There is a brilliant future found in Miss Izokoski, not only in singing all of these light soubretish parts, but maybe in the near future, all of the light lyric soprano parts like Musetta from La Bohème, Lauretta from Gianni Schicchi, Gilda from Rigoletto, and many other great roles suited to this young and lively soprano. Jyrki Korhonen was authoritative as both Zarastro and the speaker. However, I felt like he was at his strongest when he sang Zarastro. The tallness which he had in his stage presence and his equally commanding voice certainly made him stand out so well. As I read his biography, he's been specializing in a lot of basso profondo roles, most notably from the Wagnerian repertoire, whether they be Hunding from Die Walküre, one of the giants from Das Rheingold, Veit Pogner from the Meistersinger von Nürnberg, Dalland from the Fliegende Holländer, and many other great roles for this basso profondo. He's certainly done them with a lot of success, and his performance as Zarastro was evidence that he was a tall and magnificent basso profondo with a lot of great charisma and great authority that I was practically left on the edge of my seat every time he was on stage. Then we go to a young character tenor who I have never heard before, singing the role of Monostatos, but thank goodness that I heard him last night and I thought he was absolutely splendid. And his name was Jonas Eloranta. What more can I expect from this young gentleman? He was able to do a great job singing Monostatos with a snively tone and a lot of charisma that I was able to be on the edge of my seat every time he walked up on stage with his glowering glances and, of course, his amazing vocal gifts as a character tenor. We also had such magnificent singing from the three ladies, especially when you have Zara Kiveri's lilting, well-focused, and absolutely beautiful lyric soprano voice being put to great use as the first lady, Erika Bach's vivacious and absolutely wonderful lyric mezzo voice being put to great use as the second lady, and Mayu Vatulwoto's smoky yet absolutely vivacious lyric dramatic mezzo voice being put to fabulous use as the third lady. And the two are men who are sung by Mika Pohjonen, whose sturdy, strong, handsome, and absolutely well-focused spinto tenor voice was put to fabulous use as the first armed man, and Nicolas Söderlund, whose strong, commanding, and well-focused basso cantante slash bass baritone voice was put to fabulous use as the second man, and of course the three boys who were done so lovingly by Iris Zidanmäki, Alvina Maliniemi, and Martti Genevet. These three were absolutely gorgeous in their singing that I was practically in heaven. So overall, the vocal performances from last night were absolutely phenomenal, especially when you have a great leading man like Jussi Milles, who stole the show with his pristine technique and his handsome countenance, and of course an equally gorgeous leading lady like Kristel Pertna, whose silvery and lovely lyric coloratura soprano voice made her stand out. And we put two and two together, these two were indubitably the stars of last night. And the conducting done by Kurt Kopecki was very well done. He made sure that the orchestra managed to pay close attention to the text, and they were able to sound so resplendently from beginning to end. And of course, the chorus and orchestra of the Finnish National Opera were absolutely peerless. So overall, last night's performance of the Magic Flute was an overall success. When you have wonderful singers like Jussi Milles and Kristel Pertna, who were able to make vocal magic as this iconic couple, and of course a lot of other wonderful singers who contributed to last night's performance, and equally great conducting by Kurt Kopecki, then you can definitely say that this was an absolute must listen from beginning to end. And for those of you who saw this particular production of Die Zauberflöte, known in Finnish as Taikahuilu, what did you think of it? Did you feel like Jussi Milles and Kristel Pertna stole the show as the couple Tamino and Pamina? Did you feel like Alexander Olszyk stole the show as the Queen of the Night? Did you feel like there was another singer who also stole their thunder? Or do you feel like someone kind of stuck out like a sore thumb? Comment below and let me know. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to tune in much later for my review of Tchaikovsky's The Nutcracker, also at the Finnish National Opera. So until then, happy holidays, everybody!